The ruthless mafia heir Alessandro had money, power, blood in his hands, but not one woman in his bed. The rumors said the future Don was either impotent or gay. The old matriarch worried about the Moretti bloodline, so she gave the order to me, the maid who sold herself because of the family debt.
Strip down and climb into Alessandro's bed. Teach him desire. If you succeed, your family's debts will be cleared. If you fail...
Her voice pressed down on me.
Don't bother coming back alive.
I'd heard that other failed models and celebrities disappeared without a trace after they failed. Let alone a girl like me, with nothing to my name. That night I crept into his room in nothing but a thin lace slip, kneeling at the foot of his bed, shaking. Alessandro was on the bed, idly toying with a gun.
Bianca, what are you doing?
He didn't expect me.
Your grandmother ordered it.
I whispered.
She said I'm to teach my master about sex.
He sat up against the headboard, dark silk pajamas loose at the collar. He tilted my chin up, his gaze lingering over my face. His voice was low and teasing.
Teach me then.
I swallowed and took out a sex manual his grandmother had prepared for me. Techniques, positions, all of it. I read the first page in a flat, steady voice, like a prayer. I tried my best to ignore the illustrations. Alessandro nodded slowly.
Not one word wrong. Impressive. But what about the pictures?
I looked up.
What?
He suddenly pulled me onto the bed and wrapped an arm around my waist. Then he pointed at the illustrations.
If you don't explain the picture, how am I supposed to know what it means?
My face burned hot, my ears going red instantly. His pajamas hung loose at the chest, his burning skin pressed against me. I looked down. The picture was explicit. I knew the rough idea. I had no idea two people could even bend that way.
They're together.
Alessandro pressed my head toward him, his lips almost touching mine. He whispered,
Couldn't follow. Be specific.
The text on the page had been one thing. The heat of his breath against my face was another. My face went hot. I shoved the book at him and put some distance between us.
I don't know how to describe it. Mr. Moretti can see for himself.
He didn't take the book. His gaze stayed on me, soft and sly.
You don't even know. How are you supposed to teach me? Go back and learn properly. Come back tomorrow.
A quarter-hour later, I was outside his door, sniffling. Day 1. Failed. The next day, the matriarch found out I'd failed. She lost it.
Stay here on your knees until you figure out how to seduce him.
I was punished to kneel in the garden under the rain. The stone slab scraped my knees and the heavy rain soaked me through. I'd been born to a poor family. My father had gambled away a fortune in debts, and my mother couldn't afford to raise both me and my younger brother. So when I was still a child, she sold me to the Moretti family. It was there I met Alessandro, 16 back then. I'd never known a man could be like that. Handsome, intelligent, violent yet elegant. He'd pulled me out of the dirty and back-breaking kitchen and made me his only personal housemaid. 10 years had passed. I pressed his suits. I poured his wine. I organized his files for him while he was working, and somewhere in there, somewhere I shouldn't have, my heart had started leaning toward him. But I had never once thought the matriarch would order me to strip and crawl into his bed like a whore. I felt the tears coming. I was still a virgin. How was I supposed to teach anyone? Alessandro came through the front gate just then. He saw me kneeling in the rain, crying.
What's going on?
I almost passed out from the pain in my knees. He didn't ask twice. He swept me up into his arms and carried me into his room. He checked my knees.
Your skin is raw.
He found a small jar of ointment and started working it gently into the skin. The most powerful heir in New York kneeling in front of me. His fingers were long and careful, drawing slow circles on my knee.
You're always so reliable. My grandmother only punishes you when you've done something wrong. Was it last night?
I was so tense I twitched against the bruise and let out a hiss. But underneath, my heart was leaping because of his concern. Alessandro caught my finger and suddenly kissed my cheek. His voice didn't give anything away.
Tell my grandmother I learned slowly. Come back tonight. Keep teaching.
That night, Alessandro was already in bed holding the book when I came in. Somehow his pajamas was even more open than yesterday. I could see every line of his abs. He saw me and patted the bed next to him.
Shoes off. Up here.
I climbed up beside him, leaned against the pillows. Then I realized what he was reading, the sex manual. My heart started slamming. He didn't seem to notice and laid the book open between us, his arm wrapped around my waist just like in the picture.
Is this how the people in the pictures do it?
I nodded, blushing. He flipped to the next page as if he were really a student. Time passed. He handled me like a toy, following every position from the manual. The only sound in the room was the rustle of paper and Alessandro's breathing, which was getting uneven.
Bianca,
Yes.
I'm uncomfortable.
What's wrong, my master?
Alessandro suddenly snapped the book shut, threw it aside, and pulled me against him.
I wanted to see you blush.
He said into my hair.
Now I can't take it anymore.
I'd known I was pretty since I was small. The other servants used to tease me about it. They said with my face and my figure, I didn't have to do a thing to make a man want me. Alessandro caught my earlobe between his teeth. His breath was hot against my ear. I went stiff. I didn't know what to do with my hands.
Take it easy.
Alessandro kissed his way down my neck. His fingers slipped one of my straps down, and his kiss landed lower. His other hand slid under my dress, and I shuddered. Then he stripped off his shirt, revealing a perfectly sculpted body. His eyes locked on me.
Your virginity is mine, and now I'll take it.
His perfect body moved against mine in steady waves. It hurt. I started to cry. He laughed soft.
Don't even know how to do it. But you were going to teach me?
Aren't you the one who doesn't know?
I whispered, miserable.
Sweetheart, there's no man alive who doesn't know.
He kissed the corner of my mouth, gentle, turning to fierce.
When it's the right woman, the body just figures it out.
That night, he didn't let me go. Now I knew just how ridiculous those rumors were, that he was impotent or that he was gay. Once a man's tasted blood, he wants more. For the next 2 weeks, Alessandro wanted me in his bed every night. He was fierce and dark behind closed doors. He had mastered every trick in that manual, except self-restraint. After being teased by a few servants about the marks on my body, I tried a careful approach.
I heard that even good things shouldn't be overdone, that too much of it isn't good for the body.
I stopped his kiss at my neck. Alessandro laughed.
You know a lot for someone who knew nothing.
But he let me sleep that night at least. The matriarch heard it and nearly broke into tears of joy.
Thank God. The Moreggi bloodline is saved.
Then she turned to me.
Bianca, you're a sharp girl, and you've got your head on straight. When the right wife comes into this family, I'll have Alessandro keep you on as his mistress.
That was when I realized the matriarch was already arranging Alessandro's marriage. The candidate was Cassandra Santoro, daughter of the Santoro family. Of course, the most powerful mafia heir deserved a wife from a respected mafia bloodline, not someone like me, a small-town girl, a maid. Being kept on by a man like him was a kind of miracle, and I was already half in love with him, and he'd told me he liked me. I never imagined there could be more. My face burned. I knelt and thanked the matriarch.
Good girl. Take this as your reward.
She handed me my family debt bondage. It meant I was free of my servant bond or the debt. I almost wept with joy, but Alessandro was the only one who wasn't happy. That night in his bed, he gripped my jaw.
Your man is taking a wife. And you're happy?
My chest squeezed, but I made myself smile.
You and the Moretti girl are a perfect match. Why wouldn't I be happy for you?
His face darkened. Each word came clipped.
She's the wife. You're the mistress. The other woman. From now on, I'll be staying with her in this bed every night, using all the ways you once taught me to treat her well. If you cross her, she has the right to scold you, scream at you, do reasonable things she likes.
It hit me then. He was warning me. He was afraid I'd get too comfortable, that I'd cross his new wife and bring down trouble. He was reminding me of my place.
Yes, Mr. Moretti. I know what I am. I'll stay in line.
Somehow he got even more angry.
And if she's cruel, if she goes out of her way to hurt you, do you really understand?
The men around the table howled. Glasses clinked. The whole booth erupted. The coat crushed in my fist. So the love he whispered in my ear was just some trick. A move on a board. I couldn't bring myself to pull back the curtain. I turned and stumbled out, the coat slipping from my fingers somewhere along the way. Alessandro's car was waiting at the front of the club. The driver was there. I should have walked back to the car. Instead, my stomach turned. I turned into a narrow side hall. I bent over and retched. Nothing came up. I'd counted the days, and I was already 2 weeks late. This was a sign of pregnancy. The worst possible time. I looked around. I was in the back street behind the club. Nobody could see me. My debt bondage were folded in my bag. No debt, no service. I was a free woman. I'd never been brave. I was the most careful person I knew. But somehow, in that minute, I decided, I'll leave. I wouldn't be going back to the Moretti estate. I ran out into the rain around the alley and flagged down a cab.
Take me away from this part of the city, as far as you can.
Alessandro finished his last drink and stood to leave. That's when his eyes landed on the coat I'd brought. The brooch on it was a gift I'd saved up for months to give him. He snatched it up from the floor, eyes flaring with panic.
Who's been here?
The cab rolled through the storm, and my time at the Moretti estate played back in my head, scene by scene. The first day I'd come to work the estate, one of the family's men had cornered me, simply because of my face. Just as that filthy hand was about to tear my clothes off, an arm hauled him off and sent him sprawling. That was the first time I saw him, tall, sharp, like a blade drawn from its sheath. He'd looked up and his eyes had gone stunned just for a second.
What's your name?
I lowered my eyes.
Bianca.
It suits you.
He'd said.
Your fair as fresh snow.
Of the dozen girls who'd come to work the estate that season, I was the only one Alessandro had chosen to be his personal maid. I'd been over the moon. I worked twice as hard as the others. When I cleaned the front rooms, I caught myself watching for his figure across the grounds. By the time I noticed what I'd done, the feeling had its roots in too deep to pull. I'd loved him so carefully, so afraid someone would catch on, that they'd laugh at the kitchen girl who thought she had a chance with the air. Being his maid had been enough. I never thought of more. But I couldn't be one bottle in his collection. I couldn't stand him watching me bleed for him and finding it amusing. And the very least, I didn't want my child to suffer for it later. I didn't want her called a bastard. I looked back at all his odd behavior the last few weeks. His harsh words, the way he'd stopped calling me to his bed. He'd been pushing me away on purpose, hoping I'd get the hint and back off. And here I was, an idiot, daydreaming about our future.
Pathetic.
The driver took the next turn. The cab rolled on into the rain. I'd been in this little out-of-the-way town nearly a year. I'd had my daughter. I'd named her Penny. Even out here, gossip from the Moretti family filtered through eventually. People said the Santoro girl had been married in spectacular fashion. The display had gone on for blocks. Cars, jewels, the whole show. Alessandro had won her. He'd be high on himself now. He wasn't my match. He'd never been my match. Cutting him out of my life had been the right thing. I'd opened a small restaurant on the main road using the money I got from pawning a diamond necklace he'd given me. When Penny was 3, she ran a fever in the middle of the night. I rushed her to the hospital through the pouring rain that night. The doctor looked at me with pity.
Just you raising her? Where's her father?
Dead. Caught an STD and died young.
Penny was burning up, half awake. She mumbled at me from under the blanket.
Mama, what did he catch?
A sickness people get when they don't keep clean.
I stroked her hair.
Penny keeps clean. So Penny will get better fast.
Aunt Marge was trying to set me up again. I'd turned her down a dozen times. She wouldn't quit.
You've got a child. You can't go through this life alone.
Penny and I are enough. We're our own family.
That's different. Now, this Ethan, his father had once owned a large farm. He never amounted to much, but he owns a house. He lost his wife a few years back, looking for a kind, steady woman to settle down with.
She stroked Penny's head.
He says he doesn't care that you've got a child. He'll treat Penny like his own. So, if yes, I'll make it happen. Don't be shy. He'll come to your restaurant tomorrow for lunch. Brown jacket, far corner table. Just walk over and look at him. If you like him, I'll keep going. If not, no embarrassment.
I never got a word in. The next afternoon, a brown jacket sat down at the corner table, just as promised. I'd tell him I wasn't interested. I walked over carrying the beef stew.
Sir, try the beef stew.
His hand shot out and locked around my wrist as I set the bowl down. The broth nearly splashed. I jerked my eyes up, ready to snap at him. I met a pair of stunned eyes. A familiar face. The kind of handsome I had spent 4 years trying to forget. Now his face was wrenched with shock and fury. How could it be? Mr. Moretti. I caught the word before it left my mouth. I turned my face away and forced my voice flat.
Sorry. Wrong table. That order was for someone else.
His hand wouldn't let go. His voice was shaking.
Bianca, why are you here?
Half the room was looking at us now. I had made up my mind 4 years ago that I would never let this man back into my life.
Let go!
I slapped him across the face, hard.
You've got the wrong person. Get a grip, sir.
I bolted for the back. Alessandro caught up in 3 strides and cornered me against the far wall of the back lot. He had me pinned, anger pouring off him.
So you've got